Hey y'all, and welcome back. It is week 6 now of our 2021 spring/summer garden tour. I say spring/summer because like technically it's still spring, but let me tell you, today it felt a whole lot like summer. It was, I think, 92 degrees. And now we're finally down like into the 80s, which just feels so like, okay. If you want to know something a little bit embarrassing, this is actually my second attempt today at a garden tour. I decided to try earlier. It was so hot. I was just like pouring sweat. The cicadas were in the trees and they were just buzzing. You hear them in the trees? They're still there. They're not nearly as loud as they were. And the turkeys were being loud and the dogs were barking. Planes kept flying overhead. The neighbor decided in the middle to start mowing his lawn. And I did it. Like, I pushed through and I finished the whole tour. And then as soon as it was done, I was like, why did I do that? I should have just waited for later. So now it is later and we are going to do this tour. But before I do, I wanted to tell you just real quickly about a seed swap opportunity that I have for you. It's not actually mine. I'm not putting it on. There is a new YouTube channel that I am following called Baker's Bounty, and she is doing a seed swap. Now, a lot of times people will do seed swaps in the winter. Doing one in the summer is a little different, but it's a great opportunity to get anything for like a fall swap. You can still do things for next year. Seeds will keep. So all the details to that swap are on her channel. So I'm just going to send you there in a link down below. So like I said, this is my second garden tour of the day. And the first one, I actually had Amelia do her own part of the garden. And so even though it's too bright and a little bit loud, it was still really fun to have Amelia do her own part of the garden tour. So we're just gonna put that footage in here now before we move on to the other kids. Amelia, will you please tell me what is in your garden?
Carrots and stevia.
Carrots? And which one's the stevia?
This one.
This one?
Better take a tiny bit. It's a tiny bit.
So what's so cool about the stevia, honey?
You can make sweet stuff out of it.
Yeah, it's super sweet, isn't it? What else do you have?
Zinnia, my monster of a chamomile.
Your monster chamomile, your beautiful zinnia.
Onions, lavender, holy basil.
Yeah, so lavender, holy basil. Do you remember what this guy is? That's a ground cherry. And look, I actually saw when I was out here the other day, look, you got flowers going on. They're so tiny.
And my nasturtium.
And your nasturtium. Yep. Oh, the blossom is gone. Hopefully it will set more blossoms. And what's this? What is this guy?
Watermelon.
Watermelon. All right, Amelia, thank you so much. And your zinnia. What is your favorite plant in your garden?
I'd have to say stevia.
The stevia. It's so cool, isn't it?
Yum, yum, yum in my tum, tum, tum.
Alrighty. Thank you so much, Amelia. I appreciate you helping with this garden tour.
Of course, anytime.
Love you. Okay, so that was Amelia's garden bed, and now we're just going to move back this way down the line and we'll visit Benny's. So this is Benny's garden bed. Right now he's got some carrots going on, some of which are actually turning into real carrots if this is any judge. We've got 2 peppers, a Pippin's Golden Honey Pepper and a Burberry Ethiopian pepper. Got a Diva cucumber, some onions, and 3 different tomato varieties, and they're doing pretty good. I planted these a little bit later, so their growth has not been quite as explosive as some of the others, but they're still looking pretty okay. Here we tried to plant watermelon, and one of them actually came up and then was immediately destroyed by something. So that's, you know, we'll see if the other seed comes up or not. I also planted this. This is a little garden huckleberry plant. It took me a while to get that in the ground. We'll see how it does. Moving on to Miss Saoirse. She's got a whole line of carrots that are doing really nicely. Her ground cherry is actually finally starting to take off a little bit. Her zinnia has started getting petals. This one has a bud. Her calendula is looking really quite lush. And then the amaranth is doing pretty well too. And then there's this little sweet potato plant that I didn't plant here, but that's not looking dead, but it's not looking great. So we'll see how that does. All right, next we're just gonna come over here to this green stalk, and the stuff in here is just really, really impressive. I still do not have a support for my tomato plant, which is, I've been meaning to do that for weeks, guys, and I still haven't done that, and I really, really need to. This is the Gold Nugget tomato. We have a Black Beauty tomato right here. We have this monster beast. This is a Thornburns Terracotta. And then we have over here a Yellow Pear Cherry Tomato, which has just gotten so tall. In addition to that, we have a truly impressive looking little cucumber. It even has, look at this. Do you see this right here? And this right here? Those are tiny baby cucumbers. The thing about this though that I'm starting to get a little concerned about is it's starting to look a little speckly and spotty. And I'm not seeing any signs of pests, like there are no holes, so I'm a little worried that it's getting a disease and I don't know what to do about it. But I'm hoping that's not the case and I'm just mistaken. Apart from that, we've got some greens that we've actually started harvesting from, different assorted types of basil. My zinnia is still looking lovely. This parsley is turning into just a monster. I think I'm actually going to cut some of this and dry it. So since last time, I have removed the greenhouse because we were done using it for the year. And you see those delightful brown squares there? Yeah, those are where my tomato plants and my extra tomato plants sat forever and ever and ever, amen. But I finally had to be like, I had to be done. But I still couldn't get rid of all of them. So I have a couple of bins here that I drilled holes in, and I planted some of the tomato plants in here. I have a Wagner Blue Green. I have a Howard German. I have a Black Elephant. And Benny really wanted me to try the Gobstopper, but it is just looking really puny and sickly. So in case he dies, I maintained one more Cherokee Purple. It was like surprisingly hard to get rid of some of those tomato plants because like they were a little nutrient deprived because they were in such small containers and they were getting so big, but like I think they really would have perked back up, but I was like, I've already given out so many tomatoes. I can't have these in here forever. And it was just time. But, so this is a milkweed plant. My uncle actually grew this. We were at his house for Memorial Day, and he gave me this and a couple others so I could have some milkweed. And then I gave him some peppers. These are two other milkweed. Look at this. Look at this. Full of lush greenness. I've got several different kinds of lettuce in here. I have tatsui, and this is, I always forget what this is called. So the greens are all looking really lovely now. And then our squash in the middle is not doing so bad either. Now the peas are where I'm really seeing things grow. So I put them on a bamboo teepee, and some of these guys that are either halfway up or almost there. So I've got 2 kinds of peas. This is the purple magnolia tendril pea, and as the name implies, purple peas. And then the other kind of pea that we got is just your kind of standard sugar snap pea. And yeah, like that. So I have a couple more containers to show you. These are some other things that just had to get planted. I started a whole bunch of, wow, this is a big weed. I started a whole bunch of goji berries. So here's a goji berry that I would love to have make it. This is a berbere pepper, and this one actually has a tiny blossom. Isn't that pretty? Then I have a couple more goji berries. I've got this one, these 2 over here. Here's a black goji berry that is looking just so sad, but I hope he makes it because it's the only black goji berry that grew at all. So there you go. And then I have some huckleberries. This one is actually making said berries. Now my last container plant that I want to show you is this little guy right here. This is a moringa. Focus. There we go. So this is a moringa. Now moringa are trees. They grow in much warmer zones typically than ours. We are in zone 6A or 6B. I'm not really sure. Now I tried probably, I think 10 different seeds, and this guy right here is the only one who actually made it into like a true seedling stage. There was one more that just died. So I've got one moringa plant that made it after starting 10. So because they're apparently trickier to grow than I thought they were, I think what I'm actually going to try to do is I would love to see if I can get this little guy to just be a container plant and keep him inside during the winter as kind of like a house plant. Before we get to the beds, here is my beautiful weed, my mystery plant. I still have no idea what it is, but look at these awesome leaves. Aren't they cool? They've got like this light green blotching with some like super almost yellow, pale white or cream color. I just think, I don't know, I was so tickled by this. I really want to know what it is though. Okay, so those are all of the containers. Those are the kids' garden beds. Now I'm going to show you the 4 big garden beds, and that'll wrap us up. So in this bed, I have tomatoes planted across the back. I have a calendula here, a little squash that's kind of growing. He's doing okay. I've got peppers in the middle. These are shishito peppers, these 3. A sugar rush peach. I just wanted to come back here real quick because this is my sugar rush peach. And look, I wanted to show you my first little peppers. Isn't that fun? Like real peppers that I grew. Corbaci, a pimento pepper, a couple onions, and a mystery pepper. I'm pretty sure that this is a rose con pollo because it looks like the other ones that I grew, but I don't really know. And he's starting to get some definite pest damage here. but I haven't actually caught anything on him yet. So, I don't know. Actually, there's more than a few things with some bug damage on here, which like, it isn't a huge deal, I think, but when you only have like 1 or 2 of a certain plant, you kind of want to have the plant for yourself and not for the bugs. So I'm going to research some natural or organic pest control methods, and hopefully we'll be able to save him. So over here on the trellis side, I had Chinese python melons, maybe something like that, and a bitter melon. This is my second time trying to plant them, and they just haven't come up. I still got my fingers crossed. They might still appear. Yeah, I was really hopeful, especially of the bitter melon, but nothing. And nothing for the Chinese python snake beans either. So this whole area along the trellis might need to be replanted. In which case, I'm not sure what I will do. I might do beans because those are fairly fast growing. And I might also do Malabar spinach, which is not a typical spinach, it's vining. Typical spinach usually does really well in like the fall or the spring where the weather's just a little bit cooler. It doesn't like the hot weather so much. So, but Malabar spinach is actually a hot weather lettuce. So, I don't know, we'll see. Okay, we're actually having a similar, oh, hello. There's one of my girls. Hello, little bee. So this is the new Hanover ground cherry. Now the reason that I wanted to talk about this is because I started those inside weeks ago. I started them on heat mats. I started them like right on time with the other ground cherries. We had 2 varieties, the new Hanover ground cherry and the Aunt Molly's ground cherry. Aunt Molly's ground cherry did okay. Saoirse has one and Amelia has one. But the thing is, like, they just never sprouted. I was like, well, I guess we just won't get any. I probably would have just ditched them, but they were like but they were in amongst the peppers, and I just didn't notice them. Until I was taking out all the peppers, I found that I still had this, and lo and behold, when it actually got out into the elements, the seeds that were resolute and not sprouting suddenly just started sprouting, and now I have a ton of them in there. Okay, so here is another bed. Again, we've got some tomatoes across the back. These two are doing, you know, they're doing fine. This guy's doing a little bit better. Look at that. He's doing really, really well. I'm impressed. I have not had too much luck with the okra. There are a couple that actually sprouted. There's one here and one here. And the rest have gotten so much pest pressure, they're just gone. I might try to redo the okra one more time, but we're getting on in the season, and I'm kind of afraid that like we're getting past the point of being able to grow it. I'm gonna have to check the seed packets. We'll see how long it takes for the plant to mature. And in the meanwhile, I'll see what I can do for my 2 lone survivors. I have some beans here. These are Chinese noodle beans. I've got just a ton of really gnarly looking onions. And guys, I pulled one up the other day just because I was curious, and there's not much going on with them. I'm very, very tempted to just pull these out as I need them and use them just like spring onions, and then start planting in beets or radishes or something. But yeah, I have not been so successful with onions this year. These are bell peppers, but they're a little bit different. This is the albino bullnose bell pepper. And then this is a lilac bell pepper. So a white pepper and a purple pepper. So that should be pretty cool. And back over here next to the trellis again, I tried in here to do a Kiku chrysanthemum melon, and it just hasn't come up at all. So I think I'm going to do something fast growing here as well. I'm not sure if I'll do more noodle beans or something else, but we'll probably put something else in here. Okay, raised bed number 3. This is the sunflower bed. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sunflowers that are nice and big. But when those were the only ones that came up, I decided to plant some new guys. So there's one right, I don't know if you can even see him. I'm touching him right here. There he is. And then there's one here. And then then there's one right here. And one more. Do you see this little curly loop right there? That is another sunflower. So this whole back row is gonna have, I think 10. Did I count 10? 9 or 10, something like that. 9 or 10 sunflowers in the back, which I'm excited about because I love sunflowers. They're like my favorites. I have my Tromboncino squash looking lovely. And this is the Kajari melon. I really need to get something. This is starting to get a little bit of pest pressure, and I really want this little guy to succeed. So here's hoping. Here's another pepper that's starting to produce actual peppers. Oh, I love it. These guys here in the middle, these are all eggplants. The leaves are starting to look a little sickly. I actually took some of them off, but this one still has some grossness on it. Not entirely sure what to do about that, but I'm hoping that it will be okay. And then this nasturtium was languishing away with the tomatoes and peppers. And even though it was in like one of these solo cups and had no room, it still produced some blossoms, and they're so pretty. They've had a couple of days now, so this one's a little dead, and this one's not looking as hot as it was, but look how pretty they are, and in adverse circumstances. And you know what? I was so impressed with it that I decided that it could have a home in my garden because I like a little spunk from my plants. Okay, one more garden bed. So here I will start with the middle row. I have more peppers here. We have California Wonder bell peppers along the back, 2 jalapeno peppers, and 1 Miss Junie hot pepper. I have a Biquinho pepper, and these are my little skirt seedlings that are growing, which I'm happy about. I hope they continue to do so. Back here in this back row are just some really, really big tomatoes. Like, there's my tomatoes over there. These are my tomatoes over here. Like, they're so much bigger, and I don't know why. I'm not sure if it's something to do with the soil or, oh no, wait, actually, I might know why they're so much bigger. I planted eggs under these to do an experiment to see how they would do. Because that was like one of the tricks that I had heard about, was plant an egg under your tomatoes. And I think these are the only ones that I did that on. And they're looking noticeably just huger. So I don't know, guys, that might be it. I might need to keep on doing that. This is my now giant borage or borage, and I still don't know the answer to how to pronounce that, and I probably never will, and I'm okay with that. We've got Armenian yard-long cucumbers here, and over there is a silver slicer cucumber. And this has really puzzled me. So this is another cucumber. But like, look, yesterday this was fine, but today, look at this leaf. It doesn't even look like a normal leaf. Like, the rest of the leaf is like normal looking and shiny, but then like part of it just got all lank and dull and just, like earlier it was like soggy, and now it's just crinkly and weird. This one too, back here, like, I don't know. And this guy too. What is going on with you, plant? Like, I have no idea what this is. What is this? I'm so disappointed because it was doing like really well. I'm hoping it'll pull through. I don't know. Anyway, that is it. That is the week 6 garden tour. And yeah, I'm just gonna go right ahead and I'm gonna tell you that this one went so much better than the first one. So I'm glad I redid it. All right, so that is everything. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.